Welcome to Career Crossroads Uncorked, a series of member chats inspired by good drinks and current talent acquisition trends. Your hosts, Chris Hoyt and Jerry Crispin, break down today's recruiting headlines while reviewing a select beverage of choice with industry leaders and influencers. Join us for a drink and conversation.
All right. Cheers.
Such a good wine.
Oh, yeah. I might be able to open this bottle.
Twist your arm, Jerry. Twist your arm.
Jerry, I think because it is your 25th year of Career Crossroads, you should absolutely open that bottle and celebrate.
Right.
Yeah, but I want to make it 26.
Yeah, because I've never sat with you in an evening and seen you drink a bottle. Yeah.
I was just going to say, anybody who's been to an actual after-hours evening with Jerry would know that drinking a bottle is not unheard of.
No. But, you know, it takes time, whatever. And then, of course, Shannon knows that we need to finish it off with a little White Russian or something like that by the end of the night.
That's true.
You know, the perfect thing to finish a night of drinking is a dairy nightcap. I always feel so great in the morning. But it's
I just can't.
I know, I can't either. I do bow out of the White Russians at the end.
I don't even know how that started, but we've been doing it pretty much every time we've seen each other.
I think it's Jerry's fault.
Jerry has a sweet
Probably
tooth.
my fault because I was looking for something that was a little more creamy that would not upset my stomach if I've been drinking too much wine with too much acid.
Mm-hmm.
They're good. Yeah, I love them.
It's always nice. It's a nice way to sip and end the night, you know. Chat a little bit. I do
We
miss.
never just have one, Jerry.
No, true. But I kind of miss that. We should have figured out some way to accomplish all of that at various points in time.
I have some half and half in the refrigerator. If you want to wrap up this uncorked session with some half and half.
I was going to say, there you go. That's what we're missing in the year of the pandemic. Before we have 24 and a half years of all these wonderful get-togethers and nightcaps, and then it came to a screeching halt in year 25.
Yeah, it was tough. But, you know, I do think that we've had lots of extraordinary conversations with people this year. So I think the pivot truly did allow for a continuation of what we were about in terms of doing all of that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think so too. So Jerry, I got to ask, 25 years ago, did you have any inkling of what this would look like today?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Back in the days where we had 2 meetings a year.
We did, but we didn't do that 2 meetings a year until 2002.
Correct. The first
It's
few
only
years
been
there were
18
no
years
meetings at
that
all.
we pivoted to do what we're doing now. What we did from 96 on was sell books and consulting at $3,000 an hour.
That's right. And taught classes in whatever computer lab you could rent space in.
Yeah, we had one. We did the computer labs with Cornell, Cornell. Their New York facilities. They found a computer lab across the street at the New York City Technology Library. Had 25 computers online. The only place in New York City that had that. And there was only one other place we found, and that was Rider College in New Jersey also had a lab. That's really where we did our first one. But then we made the deal with Cornell, and we were doing that twice a month. 25 people, each were paying 500. Each person was paying $500. We were sold out for 4 or 5 years. Everybody paid $500. We got $250 per person. So we made a deal with Cornell to give us 50%. So it was worth trucking in there and doing all of that. I'm trying to think of who.
So did
One
people
of one of our students was Sarah White.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, one of our students was Sarah White.
That's really funny. She had to be like 12.
Close. I mean, this was late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing that, and then we had one day where we had 3 companies fly in to Newark Airport, and we rented a conference room, and I think we collected 6,000 from each. And we went away from the day with 18,000, and we've gone, it's not so bad.
It's a shame we haven't figured out how to scale making that kind of money for teaching people to turn the computer on.
Yeah,
It was such a pain in the ass pacing all of that. I mean, think about it. Some of these people didn't pay us until you threatened them, afterwards. And then we got to the point where you have to give us a check when we walked in. So literally, Mark would look at me and say, "Don't say a word." Until I have the check in my hand.
That's so Mark.
Give nothing away. I said, "What? Saying hi? Give me a fucking break."
So we've only been doing these uncorked sessions for 2 years, I guess.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah.
So everybody on the call has to say which their favorite uncorked session has been.
That's a good question. I think Marie Arms might have made me laugh the most, and I think partly just because I could I wasn't there obviously, but I could so picture the 3 of you talking. But the one I found most interesting was Michael Canistos. I just loved when he talked about taking sewing classes and all. I loved it. I
kind of liked Dan Black at EY only because it was so hard to find that bottle, and there was nothing at that level, so I had to spend $400 on a bottle that was really, really good. And then we took the rest of that, I think, up to Boston or something to finish it off.
I like, Jay, these are my air quotes, had to spend $400 on the Japanese whiskey. Wasn't that our first one that wasn't wine?
I think so.
Unless you count Jessica Lee, who duped us with carrot juice.
She did, because she was going through a cleanse.
Well, it tells you, because obviously I had to spend, and I went out and spent using our card, obviously, on that $400.
Yep.
And then today I went out to get the Camus. I forgot I have that card, so I used mine.
It's been so long since you said to have a business.
It just tells you, I've been cooped up too long. It's really the problem.
What about you, Shannon? Do you have a favorite?
Well, definitely Susan Hensley, just because I'm pretty sure that was the first one. But that's kind of what made me really fall in love with Career Crossroads. So it has a special place in my heart. And I just thought it was so out there and so unique. And that was my first also introduction to her. And she was so bubbly and charismatic. And I loved how the call kind of trailed off by the end of it. So that was probably my most memorable one.
That's funny.
That's cool.
You fell in love with the organization that not only endorsed but promoted drinking on the clock.
Creative.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
drink
awesome.
to that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
for sure.
Chris, what was your favorite?
So I think the sake that we did with Michael was probably right up there.
Yeah.
But I would say probably the next one would be I like to do in martinis with Daniel Monahan.
That's what I was. If you told me to guess which one you'd pick, I thought you were going to pick Danielle's with
It
the
was
martini.
so fun. I'm sure that my martini was just straight gin, but it was a really fun conversation and we had a good time.
Yeah,
It
A lot of
was.
fun. We did that one this year.
She was an interesting. She is an interesting person, really.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's back in Arizona now. I think she's no longer here in the Bay.
Oh,
Permanently, she made a permanent move.
Well, she had a temporary apartment here, I think, for a little while that just was located. She loved the location. I just talked to her yesterday. The location was wonderful. She had a wonderful time there, but she was sort of stuck because of COVID. So I think she finally managed to shut that down and get back home. So.
Yeah.
But you mean in Seattle?
No, I think she's in Arizona. She has a place in Seattle, I believe.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's Arizona.
So I think the Uncorked are the closest we get to the after dinner talks.
Yeah, I agree with that.
oh, totally.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have happy hours every week, which are pretty fun. But I honestly think the closest we get, because after dinner at our meetings, when we get to do the in-person meetings, there's always a balance of completely not work-related stuff, and then like project ideas, or I mean, we've got stuff on the website that was inspired from after hours conversations.
I think some of the best conversations we have ever had have been the after hours pieces with our members, et cetera. But the difference is we choose our members, and we choose the people we have a nightcap with as well. Yeah. And they choose us to some degree. The happy hour is like, it's like anybody can come, and they're coming for totally different kinds of reasons, whether it be, somebody like Randy Bailey or somebody like Debbie McGrath or whatever. And it may not focus in on some of the things that are kind of near and dear to our heart. It's what's near and dear to their heart at the moment.
Sure.
Well, I think some of the best friends I've got in the industry actually came, one way or the other, came through CXR.
Cool.
Yeah. Whether it was before I was actively, part of CXR as a company and I was just a member, or after that, right? Which is kind of interesting. I was thinking about that the other day. Like some of my dearest friends are actually part of CXR, one way or the other.
I think it says a lot about our community. Like when I talk to people about the community, and I talk about how, these are people that you want to spend time with, not just because you're going to learn from them, but just because you're going to enjoy being with them. And I think that's something that's kind of cool. But something that has definitely come together over the past 25 years.
I think they all reflect a passion about what they're doing in recruiting, that they really, really do love and care about this profession. And so that kind of affinity, even if there's many differences between us in a lot of different ways, we have something in common that really, I think, sparks really good conversation.
Yeah. For me, it's a little different. I, as the newest member, I've always been included on the Career Crossroads dinners. And what I've always liked about members was that they're extremely intelligent. They're great to have conversation with. They have an affinity for food and obviously beverages, and they know how to have fun. And so any event I went into, of course, I would always find Chris and Jerry, as soon as I can. But I always loved going to the dinners and being included in that group, because you would have the best conversations. And it was so, for me, as coming from the environment I came in, it was so nice to sit down and talk to a head of talent and listen to what they have to say, and then get into trouble with them afterwards. So to me, that was always something really cool about a Career Crossroads, event or whatever you guys were at, a conference or something like that. It was just show something about the members that, they work hard, have fun.
No duds. We got no duds.
We sort them out one way or the other.
That's right. We do.
Well, it's funny because we're different as an organization than we were 5 years ago, than we were 25 years ago. Yeah. Which I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but it's fascinating to me and I did mention this, so you guys will have to suck it up, but because you heard it before, but it's fascinating to me that, we've heard from our college recruiting leaders that they were shocked that the feedback that came back from the interns was that it was some of the best rated internships that they had conducted in recent years. They were blown away because it was such a pivot, and they had to, this pandemic and not being able to go to the campuses, and some colleges completely left out of the plan that were already part of it. And they were blown away. They were ready to take a bullet and some bad feedback, but scores went up double digits in some cases. And then, we're hearing from our members that the way we have pivoted from sort of I wouldn't call us a conference, but we do these meetings. We're doing 8 to 12 meetings a year, and fostering this online community via email and the site. We have made this pivot to where we're almost a media company that is a community of talent professionals that give a shit about each other. And I got to get Jerry's tagline in there. But we're hearing now anecdotally from our members that they feel more connected than they've ever felt. And that, I don't know about you guys, but that surprised me, because we're just hustling to try to give them what they need. And when they give a recommendation, we build on it and, get them to collaborate. But the result of the lockdown and the pivot that we've done, they feel closer than ever. I don't know, Barb or Jerry or Shannon, if that surprised you guys as well, but I was blown away.
No, not at all. In fact, Chris, what I was thinking about earlier today, in fact, was how much the various different communities came together. I think this year was undoubtedly a change for everyone. And it was really nice to see that college community come together, because, we were having meetings with them to talk about what they're doing for their summer. And we hosted 4 or 5 meetings so they can come together and they can plan how their summer internships would look. And if you're not in the CXR organization, odds are you're out there on an island by yourself trying to figure it out. And it was really cool to see all of our members come together and solve these challenges and these problems together. And it wasn't just a college recruiting community. Look what we did with recruiters recruiting recruiters, and being able to help, for example, some of our good clients ramp up or ramp down. And so I think that was prime examples of how we all were able to lean on each other and come together for a little bit more security and tightness and solutions. So I wasn't surprised to see those numbers that were presented in our college recruiting community. And I wasn't surprised to see that so many of our members are also enjoying their experiences on the site too, because the engagement within the community and the sharing has really, really increased. And overall, that just makes for such a better experience for all of us.
Yeah, I think the attention that we've given them, but that they give each other, and the numbers of times that they've been able to do that, either in an exchange or in one of the meetings, whether it's considered a colloquium meeting or not, it's still a Career Crossroads event. And so they're seeing each other way more than they ever have. At least our core group, and it's a pretty broad group. So I'm real comfortable with it, that helps that bonding feeling that they're willing to support each other.
Yeah, I feel like we were built for this. Like we were built for this moment to bring these people. Like exactly. I talked to so many people in the past 6 to 8 months who have said, "There's no blueprint. I don't know what to do," and nobody does. So like having a format or forum, I should say, where they can come together and brainstorm and talk about what's going on. Like we had all of that sitting here. So like I really think we were built for this. And
the pandemic actually created decision making under extreme circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And no one likes to be isolated thinking, oh, I've got to make a decision about what to do. And what I have to do has never been done before. Do I really feel comfortable making that decision, not knowing what anybody else who has to make that decision is doing? I really hunger to talk to others who will tell me the truth about what they're doing and facing. And I think that plays really into our model in a huge way. And I think we'll continue to for at least another year. And then we need to think about, as it settles out, how do we maintain that stream?
Yeah. Where's our balance to the fun in-person stuff and still giving people multiple opportunities to get together in a digital format. It's fun. It's always fun. It's
I
always
mean,
fun.
when we started doing this in 2002, it was because there weren't that many conferences. There were a number of them, certainly ERE and others, but it was really clear that people who spoke at those conferences were under restrictions from their legal and PR departments about what they could say. And so there was cautious information, there was fake data being presented in the sense, and they would admit, this is not the real data, I can't show you the real data. So I've made up some data, and so here you go. And then they would tell you, this is what we did a year and a half ago. And I'm going, well, what are you doing now? I can't tell you.
Nobody's ever pulled a bigger switcheroo on data at a conference than Rob McIntosh. Standing room only at an ERE on measuring the quality of hire. Rob, if you're listening, I'm talking to you. You go to his session, you're packed. You're literally packed in. I'm surprised the fire marshal didn't show up. You're squished against the back wall like it's some sort of South by Southwest session with Jimmy Fallon, right? Rob gets up, fires up his slides, opens them up, and apologizes because at the last minute, his boss said he had to redact all of the information. So what you get is this slide with all these markers through it and no calculation. That's when I knew I really liked Rob.
Oh.
And that's the kind of situation we were in. So I remember talking to at GE. She's retired now in Carolina. And she basically said, GE doesn't allow any of us to talk.
Kim Warren,
talk publicly. And I said, well, you're not going to be in public. You're going to be, in a private group of just, practitioners. So take a shot at it. And she managed to get permission. And that's really how that worked. But that's what it was like in 2002. And so the gap was pretty wide with what we were doing versus what others were doing. I think there's more transparency about what people are doing now when they give a talk at a conference, if they get somebody to talk. But there's still not enough opportunity to really engage them and to, fully have a dialogue or conversation that's open. It's still much more presentation.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk? So Shannon brought up recruiters recruiting recruiters. That we sort of helped lead to fruition, but we did with an awful lot of other participants, be they our members, who came together from an ideation stage and a support stage and sort of helping with that. But that has and several vendors, obviously, in the space and solution providers in the space that generously gave time and resources and all that for it all to come together in a really exciting project. But that sort of led the way to something Jerry and I have been talking about for a while. And I don't know, we can talk, I guess, because we announced it this week, but we can talk a little bit about it. And that's the nonprofit, the CXR Foundation that's gone out, which I'm pretty excited about.
I'm excited about it too. I think it's got a lot of potential, certainly in terms of covering some of the things that we've been doing in the past. We should think about how we present that day before in a way that might attract a lot more of our members to show up and participate when we look at that issue. The ability to bring recruiting recruiters under our wing, but we still have to prove that it can provide stuff. Obviously, there's an awful lot of need out there, but I'm not so sure we've got all the data yet that helps us understand whether we're helping that community. So there's that, but there's an opportunity to do that for sure. And then I do think it provides a foundation for opening up our community, or not pivoting our community, but creating a secondary community that's more industry focused if we can vet them properly. And I do think it's going to be important to vet, because I was asked that by several. So does everybody get to play if they're willing to pay? And I said, no. I said, we've got a list of right now 60 or 70 vendors that we think there are people in that vendor community who actually care about our industry and would work not on selling, but on solving problems with members who also care about doing things beyond their own employer. Not all of our members are going to be able to carry on a conversation about what we need to do in the industry versus what they need to do in there as an employer. So I think that if we can tee up some really interesting industry-wide challenges, pay disparity, the kind of tools that recruiters really need in order to be accountable for diversity and other kinds of things, I'm convinced that we could come to some kinds of agreements where we could be promoting the shit out of that, with all of the companies and people who are willing to step up and say, this is what good looks like for this kind of practice. This would increase the fairness of recruiting. This would increase the likelihood that candidates would think well of this profession, and we would be much more proud of being part of that profession. And if we could, bring people together to do that, I think it'll add a hell of a lot to our model on the other side, as well as satisfy, I think, some of the needs to build some connections between good quality vendors out there and members who, want to get stuff done.
Yeah, or at least the leaders within those organizations, right? I mean, I think one of the things our members know, and maybe some people don't, but I mean, we have 3 conditions of membership from a career crossroads standpoint, because we interview anybody who wants to join a company that wants to join Career Crossroads. You don't just get to, like you said earlier, for the foundation work, you can't just pay to play. And the 3 rules are pretty significant. It's you got to be doing the work, you got to be able to share the work, and then we've got the really strict no asshole policy, right? And we interview for those, and all our members will tell you they've been interviewed for that. But I think that sort of methodology, the spirit of that carries over to the foundation as well. We're not looking for people who want to just drop some coin and pay annual dues. We're looking for people who want to get in and solve some problems and deliver some standards to ATAP, or get some stuff published online, or build something that is a solution like recruiters recruiting recruiters, or the new One project, or stuff like that. So that's what I'm excited about.
My fantasy was getting 100 companies and vendors and obviously practitioners, employers, to actually sign something on a full-page Wall Street Journal article, if you will. I asked Joe Shaker to tell me how much a full-page Wall Street Journal article, page.
Wait, don't say how much. Did he tell you how much?
Oh yeah.
Okay, are we talking Sunday or Wednesday? Like,
well,
just
in Wall Street Journal doesn't come out on Sunday; it comes out on Tuesday. So,
oh, that's right. Okay.
So that would be Tuesday, and not color.
So black and white.
Color too, but not so black and white, full page. And imagine it's got some really cool way of saying this is what good looks like from a fairness in hiring in 2021, or these key principles apply, and then there's signed J&J and all these other companies, etc., all around it.
Okay, so we're gonna take turns guessing. I'm gonna say it's $45,000.
Okay.
All right, Barb.
I was going higher. I was going to say 52.
52. I love the 2. 52.
Why not? It's like Price is Right. You have to be specific.
Shannon, what about you?
We're playing Price is Right. I'm gonna say $52,000, but I think it's crazy high. Like, I'm gonna go with $150,000.
I was gonna say I almost wanted to say six figures. I haven't priced an ad in a long time.
This would show, Barb, how out of touch you and I are with print media from how long it's been since we placed a print ad.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
And Shannon's closer. $277,000.
Holy smokes.
It's funny. My gut said 300, but I was like, oh, I'm going to divide it in two.
Joe said, but that's their, that's their ticket price. He said, I'm sure I can negotiate something less.
Like 20
like
grand.
150.
No, I don't think so. However, let's get, so it may not be the Wall Street Journal. Maybe we look at Forbes or something, we look at something else. But
like the penny sheets.
well, I mean, look here, if we had the money and we wanted to do something that, reaches CEOs, it is the Wall Street Journal that will have that impact. But there is a trick, and the trick would be that there are regional buys, and the cheapest regional buy is the West, and that full page is 67,000. So there's games one could play and still say, I bought a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
A shadow box gift for your retirement.
Well, it's, it's
That's right. That's right.
but there are the idea of funding not just the figuring out the solution, but trying to leverage us as a collective group to influence how corporations think about what good recruiting looks like, or fair recruiting looks like, would be something that I think would strike a chord with almost any TA leader anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's kind of like I tell people when we have our in-person meetings, or honestly even the online ones, I have the best seat in the house because I just get to sit back and listen to all the cool ideas and conversations and things that come up. I can't wait to have that same experience with the foundation, because I think that there are things that the people who want to get involved, they're going to bring them up as a passion that we haven't even thought of.
Right. And just to put it out on Facebook is not what we end up doing.
Yeah.
We need to capture enough money that it makes sense to spend some of that in promoting it in ways that will make people sit up and think, however that occurs. And I'm convinced that we have the capacity to do it. I think we're the right place to do it.
Well, we've got the right people already interested. I mean, we've got recruiters recruiting recruiters, and the folks that did that, one of the things that the board of directors for the foundation offered is all of you just come in with a first year, no dues, all in to continue to manage that project and be part of it under the wing of the foundation. We've got the one project that's already been brought up where the effort there is to provide coaching. So asking every employed recruiter to dedicate one conversation to one person to make one difference, to give a little bit of coaching to a recruiter who's looking for work, right? Whether it's resume review or just having a discussion around their career journey. And then we have another one that popped up yesterday. I'm probably going to overshare because this Camus is really, really good. We got another one that popped up yesterday about establishing a template or a methodology to build a recruiting roadmap and build that, staple up, and deliver that, like publish that. And I imagine that's one that we would do probably hand in hand with ATAP and give that to them from a standard standpoint. But that's three projects.
We want to look at them, from whatever the board does, or, the group that makes some choices about how that should be moved forward. Some of those might be better served by, again, a partnership with ATAP and our members rather than the vendors. But I do think there's potential here for some extraordinary opportunity.
For sure. It's exciting. So I'm halfway through my Camus.
Yeah.
Has anybody talked about Camus yet? I mean, I don't even know we named it by name in the beginning. Did we?
That's a good point. I don't think we told anybody.
I'm actually halfway through mine too.
People will be shocked that we're all drinking a cab. Yeah.
All right. So do we all have the same year, Camus? Except Barb, you have Stag's Leap, which is
I do.
also
18.
18. I got 18 also.
I have 18 also.
All right.
I have a 2017. I'm different in all ways over here.
And what was yours? What was yours, Shannon?
2018, same.
Oh, you're 18 also. Okay.
So Jerry, one of the reasons why I like Camus with you is because the back of Camus,
Yes.
for those who've never had a bottle, speaks to me as though if Jerry were to bottle a wine, this might be something similar he would pack. Maybe Nana would be on there. Nana's secret sauce recipe. Maybe he'd slide that in there. I don't know. But there might be a picture of you and Diane or some sort of little, this is kind of how I think you would bottle some wine.
This goes a little bit before me. You know that, though, right?
1930, yeah, but not much. I mean, 1934.
I love that you just gave people a reference, Chris. Now, if they want to go get a bottle of Camus, they'll immediately think of Career Crossroads when they look at the back of the bottle.
But like, I feel like that's sort of a Jerry style bottle. Like when you did the secret sauce post, right, on the Career Crossroads site, like it's a lovely picture of the dinner that had taken place when you were a child, and then again when you were a great grandfather. Same table, same room. Oh, that was really nice.
No, I agree. I think it looks good like that. It's sort of like,
Right. I like Camus. It's not heavy for me. I wish I had a steak right now. It would be really good with a steak.
Yeah, it would be.
Yep.
I
like it too because Chris and Jerry, I don't know if you remember this, but I invited you to come over once for appetizers at my house a couple years ago, and Camus was one of the wines we drank.
That's right, and we had cheese.
That was after, I think, a game of golf with Chris.
Did we play golf? Did we do golf that day?
Yeah, the one that has these weird holes around the world or something like that.
Was Joanna Clark with us?
At that time, I don't think so. Not in Texas.
Oh, this was not the Scottish course. This was Tour 18 in Dallas.
Right.
And all the holes are modeled after like PGA, like tour holes. Yeah. I remember that. That was a wonderful course.
Yeah, back when you guys used to play golf. You guys used to play golf the day before meeting started, and then I started making you do service projects instead.
That's okay. We can
just tell you before Jerry gets a chance to say it. Yes, Jerry beat me every single game of golf we ever played. There, I just had to get that out there.
Yep, there were a couple years we all played golf.
Only because you don't practice. That's all.
That's fair.
But I would say that, maybe in the future, if we do fewer meetings and, we're committed to going in a day early and we have more people coming in, we could do a golf championship the day before that.
I like how Jerry just adds
as a way to raise money for the CXR Foundation.
Okay, Jerry, who would your foursome be? Who'd your CXR
I think we should have them bid on that.
Oh,
I like how Jerry skirted all responsibility for selecting a golfing foursome.
I don't give a shit who I play with, but they ought to have paid some money to get, for the CXR Foundation.
Oh my gosh. Sure.
Let's see. Oh, go ahead, Barb. Sorry.
I said I'd just add that to the list. Just add it to the list.
Aaron Matos would help us do that. He would probably arrange with his people to have the whole tournament going and everything else.
Now, we've played golf with Aaron.
Yes, we did.
Twice? I think we played twice. Yeah, we played once. We just went out and had a good time. And then another time, there was an organized event we all took part in. I don't remember if Aaron was a good golfer or not, though.
He's so-so.
Okay. So he's on your team. He's not on my team.
Okay. You know what's going to happen now? My husband's going to be like, wait, there's a golf outing before every meeting? I'm coming with you.
We have played golf with your husband. He can be on my team.
Yeah, that was the meeting where we stayed at a hotel that was on a golf course and Matt invited himself.
Well played. Very well played.
Yeah, he does like the golf game.
That's so funny.
I do like it. I'm really hoping that for anybody who might be listening to this when we actually post it out, I'm hoping we'll be announcing our calendar here in the next week, and I'm really hoping we have some in-person events at the end of next year.
I'm not sure how many we'll tack golf onto. Although they did take Jerry. We went somewhere and golf got rained out, and so instead we went to Top Golf, and that is the only time I've beat Jerry at golf.
I could play Top Golf. Shannon, do you play golf?
Yes. I don't know if I could. I need to check with like Rob Doherty because he has the same injury as I did. But I don't know how you could swing after shoulder surgery, but we'll figure it out.
You can, in time, there's plenty of ways. You'll be fine.
Are you right-handed?
Drinking will help.
Drinking helps everything. That's what we learned at Career Crossroads means. No, but all I have to say is that the next time we are anywhere near Polaris, one of our good members of the community, I think that more than just Chris and Jerry should be allowed to go riding on the course.
I agree.
Yeah, I do. I do think there's certainly a gender discrimination.
There was. I was at that meeting.
I admit it, and I fell into it. It was only after the fact that I realized that was probably a mistake.
It was me. I was discriminated against, Shannon. You weren't part of it yet, but it was me.
But we know that both you and Shannon are pretty good at stepping up for yourselves and your gender. And so we will try to remember, but I know you'll remind us that next time they invite us to go on the course in all of those things, that there are 4 people in Career Crossroads.
Joe's on board. Joe would invite me in a heartbeat. I know.
Joe would be embarrassed, but if we had to remind him.
I got to tell you, one of the biggest disappointments for me from a work standpoint and the pandemic is the fact that this year we had planned to go back out to Minneapolis, to the Polaris headquarters, and do a live podcast discussion from a sport vehicle. So from one of these outdoor vehicles, like I forget the name of some of these, but they were crazy. Like these 4-wheel vehicles where we're talking about challenging talent acquisition topics on GoPros while we're driving through this crazy mud course.
Well, I got to tell you, this could be a hell of a marketing thing. So when we can do that,
it was approved.
All of us should
legal approved it. Everybody approved it.
All of us should meet in Minneapolis and go out and do this. North of Minneapolis and Polaris or whatever. Do our thing, and then Barb can figure out how to juxtapose the messaging as, we're back.
I'm texting Joe right now, and he doesn't believe that we're really talking about him. So I can't wait for him to listen to this and realize that he's on the hook for this whole big Career Crossroads adventure.
Have an entire marketing plan around this.
I think it was him and Roger Coker and a couple of their other team members when we went and did the ride for fun. We said it, we were having beers afterwards and having lunch, and we said it sort of off the cuff, it'd be fun. Nobody was more in than Joe. Joe's the one who called us back a month later and said, guys, it took some work, but my legal team signed off on it. You're just going to have to sign these death waivers. But other than that, everybody feels really good about it. We're excited. And then he gave
you a helmet.
Well, no, we had helmets. We have helmets. We have all kinds of great stuff for this. And I will say that, he also set up that this whole thing, we had to have training. And the woman who trained us was really a hard ass. She was an industrial engineer in charge of safety at Polaris, and she was the most dangerous driver I've seen on that course. She was kick ass for sure. And she had to slow it down for at least for me, so that I could keep up with her. She kept on looking over her shoulder like, who's that old asshole who just can't kind of keep it up?
But we rode everything except the slingshot.
I thought we rode the slingshot.
The three-wheeled motorcycle. You see it kind of like a
Those
three-wheel.
are not off-road. Yeah, I bet you did not ride those. Yeah.
Yeah, because the one, it was out for maintenance or something, but we literally rode like the Razor. We rode.
That's what I'm thinking of,
like
the Razor.
4 or 5 different things.
Oh yeah, it was cool.
Oh.
Shannon, I would have to say that as an athlete, you're going to have to kind of pull back some of your competitive nature on these courses because.
No, you're not. Just put the helmet on.
Yeah.
Yep, Shannon will win. I'm putting my money on it right now. Shannon's gonna beat all of us.
That's the new mantra for CXR. Just put your helmet on and go.
Yeah.
There you
That
go.
was-
Oh, look here, we have such fun members.
We had some pretty good pictures from that, by the way. That
We
was
do.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have GoPro video.
yeah.
I know.
Joe just said he's all in. Whatever you want.
Love it.
Yep.
Amazing.
I know. So before we're done, I mean, we could talk for more than an hour, but I don't know that anybody wants to listen to us for more than an hour. Before we're done, should we talk about, I mean, other than our ride at Polaris, apparently, that we're going to be scheduling in 2021 or 2022, should we talk about some other fun stuff that we're going to be doing soon?
I'm going to open a second bottle of Camus when this call is over.
It's a good plan. It's a good plan.
Good plan.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some leftover from Wednesday when I made bucatini alla abatriciano.
Oh, Jerry, you piqued my interest because I don't know this sauce.
Oh, it's a classic Roman sauce. Tom Becker did a fabulous job with that. The base for this is guanciale. Guanciale.
That's a lot of A's in there.
Guanciale. And it's the cheek of pork. You get a big pork cheek, and you have to you learn how to cut off pieces of this that's not eatable, and then cut it. It's like a bacon.
It is like bacon. I mean, I've had it before. It is like bacon. I'm not cooked with it.
And so it's cut in a particular way, and then that starts the sauce off. There's no oil for the sauce because the guanciale has an enormous amount of sauce when you crisp this sucker up. And it has, what else is in this? There's no onions. There's no garlic.
What?
There's
no garlic.
What?
There's wine. So there's the guanciale.
There's a gun to skillet.
Hey, stop it. Stop making fun of the way Italian people talk.
Then there's wine.
We sound like Borat.
I know. And then there's tomatoes. And then there's your pasta, which is bucatini, and bucatini is a thicker spaghetti with a hole down the middle.
With a hole in the middle. I'm with you, Jerry. Jerry, I'm with you.
That's good.
Barb makes her own pasta.
So then you put in the bucatini, and the last thing you put in when you turn the heat off is Padano. It's cheese. So cheese.
They were hoping you were going to say guanciale again.
No, cheese. And then you eat it, and it's really, really good. Much more flavorful than I thought for a 40-minute sauce. Unbelievable.
Interesting in less than an hour, because you're right. It is hard to make a really full sauce in less than
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't know exactly. So what part of...
And there's a recording of it, by the way. Do you guys want to see the recording? I'll send you a link to the recording.
I saw pictures.
Of Tom Becker making this thing.
Only if Tom Becker says tomato and skillet.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And every time they say guanciale, I'm going to drink.
You don't have to watch the whole thing because you'll get it immediately. Watch the first 5 minutes. He starts it at the point at which I'm introducing myself, and I say, because everybody on the thing I know, so I go, well, I'm celebrating my 25th anniversary. That's basically it. That's all I said, and then we start. But I'm wearing, so when we do our cooking class, Chris, I have a chef's outfit that I wear.
With the hat too.
I have a hat. I have a chef.
You did not buy this from the Catholic Church, did you?
No, but it does look a little bit like there should be a clerical collar along with it. Yes, that's true.
Inside joke for our listeners and followers.
I won't say why, but I've seen some pictures.
I got it.
That's fantastic. I'm on the fence here, guys. So as we get ready to exit our call here,
Mm-hmm.
I have something to present to the team as an idea.
Okay.
As you know, we have a meeting the last week of October.
Me too.
And I'm just wondering, like, who's going to dress up for Halloween for that meeting?
Technically, we have 2 meetings. We
Well, that's true.
have our analytics meeting the 28th, and we have an EMEA meeting the 29th.
Do they understand Halloween?
They have Halloween in Europe. I think you just offended a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
Which is
no,
in
in
Europe.
Europe it's Halloween.
I've been to Rome over Halloween before, and nobody celebrated.
I feel,
Well,
maybe they don't trick or treat, but
But I
Halloween's
think-
not a thing.
Day of the Dead, something like that.
I would be up for some kind of creative costuming, and I would challenge our members to come prepped for that as well.
Okay. Can they all dress up like you, Jerry?
They could, but I won't be dressed up like me either.
I think it's celebrated differently in Europe, but it's still celebrated.
I think so.
It's a little different, but maybe not everywhere in Europe, obviously.
So now I feel like I need 2 costumes, one for the analytics people and one for our EMEA people, separate.
I'm going to bring a surprise to the analytics meeting. I'm going to bring a little Simba, if you know what I mean.
Oh, excellent. I like it.
Like,
Yep, it'll be fun. We got good stuff. Not just in October. We got good stuff going on.
what do I still have? Oh, you know what I still have from you, Shannon?
Yay, the robot. We control the robots.
You might notice that the arms are now gone. This thing is seriously damaged, but
This is why you can't trust automation.
it's still there. It's still one of my things. I obviously have my
Jerry's
I've been
throwing it way
waiting
back
for
with that clicker.
and you know what this is, right?
I don't.
I don't know.
I wasn't sure when it was upside down.
It's Job Boo. I have
Boo.
all of the failed folks out there. This is what do you think this is?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see some swag from the company that I worked for.
What do you think this is?
1998 that is no longer
Wait,
around.
hold on, let's see it. Wait, don't tell us. Let's see it. Move it closer to the camera.
Oh, it moves. Is it a dog?
Yeah, but hold on.
It's
hold
a
on. Let's see
neon
the front of it.
green.
Showing us.
Oh, it didn't do it. All right, there's not enough energy in the batteries. This is
Flip Dog. I knew it. It's the search engine, Flip Dog.
Yep. Jerry,
And it-
you have so much
and it
stuff on your-
actually flips.
Not anymore.
Hey,
Flip Dog,
hey.
stop
It
flipping.
really
Has
it's
it
kind
today,
of
but-
hurting right now.
Jerry, I've been in your office 100 times. I've never seen within arm's reach 15 years of tchotchkes. So I don't know if you prepped for the call.
No, they're all here. You just didn't look. I got everything. I got shit from forever.
15
I've got,
years.
some of Mark's famous whatever things that you look through and see?
Oh, I actually have some old Career Crossroads gifts in my office too.
I just have coins.
Yeah. I've got a kaleidoscope. I have
got the kaleidoscope.
I have a funky vase. I have, well, the wine glasses are not in here, but I have those custom blown wine glasses.
You have the wooden books that you open and they have all the mini CDs in those. I have those.
I didn't get one of those. I ordered those for you all, but I did not get one of those.
Thank you, Barb.
So if you want to know who I might look like, this is my grandfather.
Is that Billy the Kid?
It does look like Billy the Kid.
He looks like a badass, Jerry.
He does look like a badass, doesn't he?
Where's your hat?
Except for that hand on his hip part.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You know, whatever.
He probably
God.
killed the photographer that told him to put his hand on his hip.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait till we're all in person again, so we can take some pictures, Jerry, of you and all of us together. That'll be fun.
I think
That
that'll be a lot of fun.
Since we were all together. Do you guys realize that's been a full year?
It has. Wait, no, the sourcing meeting wasn't a full year. In October?
When was our last actual meeting?
It was Washington, D.C. Analytics.
AARP was our last.
AARP hosted. That was our last one. I don't think we're quite. I think we're like a week away. But yeah,
Like
we're
4 or 5 days from a year. I'm giving
Yeah.
it shit.
Yeah, Shannon's
Oh,
right. Shannon's right.
we have to send Grant a note that he needs to celebrate with us our last
There you go.
face-to-face meeting or something like that. So
I
next
know.
Thursday.
Yeah, AARP. They were great hosts. We've had a lot of great hosts. I can't wait to have more great hosts.
Oh, we have. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
If the redwood forest doesn't burn down, we might even try to go back there.
But, you know, I'm hanging out in California lately, and if we just quit putting all of our water into the ocean to save a silly little fish.
I know. What? That was a very strange comment. I saw that too.
I will say, so I had a wine dinner 3 weeks ago.
I have one every night.
Me too.
No, a wine dinner with a group of people on Zoom from my restaurant, stage left, that they sent me the food and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of neat. And for 2 hours, the fellow who owns the vineyard in Napa talked about his wines. They're hourglass wines. They were very, very good. And then, unfortunately, a week ago, he sent a note saying everything burned. His entire vineyard, his home, all of his winery, it's all burned down to the ground.
Awful.
Just awful. And I mentioned it to Gallo because I said, you know, are you helping out, you know, in providing some resourcing to some of those folks? Because a number of wineries are offering their wines at a discount with some percentage going to help the wineries. And he said 23 wineries have burned to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
In Napa. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
We gotta tell you.
So I'm in downtown San Jose, and about a week and a half ago, it was the first 2 or 3 days I could see the mountains and the hillsides that are miles and miles away. Because before that, the smoke was so bad I could only see maybe 2 miles. I'm on the 19th floor, so maybe 2 miles. And then all of a sudden, the smoke was back, and it looked like a thick fog that when you walked outside, you could smell it was stuff burning. It wasn't fog, but it looked like a very thick fog. And only just today has it cleared up where I can see maybe 2.5, 3 miles, and then the hills and the mountains are in haze. But that fire resurgence in Napa, I mean, just all of that blue, it's surreal. At least we don't have any more orange days, but it's really surreal. My heart goes out to not just the families, but those entire vineyards. It's incredible.
Oh, it's really pretty extraordinary. California's going to take a while to recover from all of that, for sure.
If only we just swept the forest floors.
Okay, I think as a closing, we gotta do a round robin of a favorite. Should it be a favorite, not a favorite meeting, but like one of our favorite experiences at a meeting? I don't know, something. I feel like we should do a round robin of a favorite experience at a meeting. And we should let Shannon go first because she's had fewer meetings and we don't want to steal her thunder.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like we should have a favorite experience at one of our meetings. That could be a fun way to close things out. Shannon, are you ready?
It has to be a meeting. Yeah, does it have to be a meeting?
It could be a favorite Career Crossroads experience. How's that?
CXR moment.
A CXR moment. Oh, that should be a
Chris
new
and Jerry.
Okay,
Hashtag CXR moment.
there you go.
I would say last year, right before the AARP meeting, we were at ERE in DC, and we went out to a fabulous, fabulous meal. I forgot the name of the restaurant, but amazing meal. Then afterwards, we wanted to go meet up with Ben Gotkin and a couple of ATAP people to watch the Nationals clinch. Yes, the Nationals clinched the I think playoff title or whatever, the pennant. So anyway, so we're getting ready to go, and Chris and I have this great idea that the best way for us to get there is one of those rent-a-scooters. Like, so we left Jerry alone to figure out how to work a bird, and Chris and I went. Probably 20 minutes later, we found a bird in a line. We went back, and Jerry is still in the exact same position we left him. And here's where it gets funny, because throughout the whole journey throughout Washington, D.C., Chris and I picked the fast birds. Well, Jerry happened to pick the slow birds. And every time we would go through an intersection, we would turn around, and Jerry was probably 50 yards behind us. But all of a sudden you see these flashes of lights, because Jerry would run the red lights, and the cameras would automatically take a picture of him. And all we would hear was, and it was so freaking funny to watch Jerry run the red light and then laugh. And Chris and I must have fallen off our scooter so many times. And then of course we get there, all right. And so we get there, and it's a whiskey bar. It's a famous whiskey bar in DC. And we're on ATAP's money, of course. And so Jerry goes up there and he goes, I'm gonna get a whiskey. What would you like? And what was the name of that whiskey? Yamakasi, something like that. And I was like, and he ordered one for Chris. And I was like, what about me? I want one too. And so Jerry's like, okay, fine, I'll get you one. I'm like, this is a double. And Jerry's like, yeah, I got a double. He's like, it's the I forgot what it was. He's like, it's the 12-year. And I'm like, I saw him pour the 18-year. So the guy was pouring doubles 18, which was a $600 tab for just the three of us, courtesy of ATAP.
You realize, Shannon, until now, ATAP didn't know that. Thanks, Ben.
No, they did, because right afterwards, that's when all of a sudden their account got closed out. But oh my gosh. And Ben was so cool. He was like, Jerry, for everything you did to us and all that. So it was a fun moment. But just him running the red light, us on the scooters together, and then of course overindulging in a glass of whiskey. It was a fun evening.
Jerry, did you ever get a ticket from the city of Washington, D.C.?
I never did. I will say, though, that one of my major accomplishments in life has been driving literally across the entire city of DC on a scooter. I thought this was going to take forever to do it. And chasing after you two was obviously a bit of a challenge. And as long as I ignored the rules of the road and there wasn't anybody coming in the opposite direction, screw it.
Well, it was late. There was no traffic, but you caught every freaking light.
I know. Right in the middle of it.
I thought I was going to die when that thing... I thought for sure they'd find you eventually. You'd get, 5 $300 tickets.
That was funny. I will say that was funny.
Okay, Chris, you got a favorite, or not a favorite, but one of your favorites. We're gonna let Jerry go last.
Because I know what Jerry's going to say. and it is also one of my favorites. I'm going to pick another favorite. When we did our 100th at Disney, I have emotional connection to that, obviously, our 100th meeting. And when Mickey Mouse rolled in with the cake, and Jerry had no idea that Mickey Mouse was going to come in with the cake, and the look on his face was pretty priceless. So that was a favorite moment. And then, of course, it was complimented. We did the evening walk around. We did the food, right? The tour when we were in the park, and ended at we had a private showing area to watch the fireworks right on the water. So VIP access for all of our members to sit and watch the amazing fireworks show that Disney does every night. So that was kind of an emotional, kind of fun meeting for me. So that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one. And so just Jerry's going to go last. And yes, it was pretty fun to surprise him with that one, Chris, because you're right. You and I were the only ones who knew that Mickey was coming. Nobody else knew Mickey was coming. So that was fun. So it's funny, you stole a little bit of my thunder. I was going to talk about that meeting because I wanted to also lead into the fact that Roger Coker and I, for anybody who knows who Roger Coker is, I talked him into going on soaring at that particular event when we were at Epcot, and he'd never been on a Disney ride before. So that was one of my favorite things. But I will say one of my favorite Career Crossroads moments is that we went to Nike the first time. We've been there more than once, but when we went the first time, and we had a tour of campus, and then we got to go to the employee store, which was a pretty cool bonus that they gave us. So we got to go shopping. And I personally had a lot of fun shopping. I bought a lot of Christmas gifts for my kids that year at Nike. But just walking around and watching our members and the number of them that had their phones up because they were like FaceTiming with their family members, like showing them all the stuff, like, what do you want? And then, we go out and there's a bus waiting for us to take us back to our hotel so we can get ready for dinner. And the number of times I had to go back into Nike and do a sweep to try to get all of our members to come back out. It's just fun to share. It's just fun to share moments like that with our members where we're all like, it doesn't matter anymore, like what our job is. We're all just experiencing something together, whether it's shopping at Nike or driving up a hillside at Gallo and finding a bar for tasting at the top. It's cool. I really like those moments. I miss those moments. I can't wait till they come back. Okay, Jerry.
Well, a couple things. I think one, if I had one to pick, and and Chris had not picked the 100th, I probably would have picked the 100th.
That was not the one I thought you'd pick.
Because it was such an important benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
That we had 100 different meetings with people that built these kinds of relationships over the years. So that's powerful. I mean, just powerful as just a long-term, accomplishment, if you will. So that was great. The two that I would mention would be first. You're not going. I will go there, but I'm not going there now.
People who can't see us, Chris and I are like, we just know what he's going to say.
Of course,
I think we published the video.
So I'm going to delay it. So the first one is in Half Moon Bay, which I think it was the second meeting that we had.
It was your second, because I've planned them all, though I didn't get to go to all of them.
So see, I'm good. That tells me that despite my age, I can remember something.
You're correct.
So it was our second meeting.
Yes.
Half Moon Bay, and we had this event at Mark's brother's
art gallery,
which was extraordinary. I mean, it was the kind of a high-end, art gallery, and to have a whole bunch of people connect and engage there was it just sparked, this is what we have to keep doing kind of thing. And in the middle of it, a woman, Johal is her last name, Nina Johal from Microsoft, who was not scheduled to come. And she was the head of some part of Microsoft's recruiting. And she simply showed up and said, I really want to check this out. And we welcomed her, and Microsoft actually started working with us from that point on. And that was kind of cool. And she actually, I think, heads up all of executive search at Microsoft right now.
Wow.
And then the one that obviously you're expecting me to pick was this past year at Gallo.
Yeah. Yes. with your new best friend, Kate McMurray.
And yes, I mean,
he may have had 3 sons, but he had 1 daughter we'll never forget.
That's right. He might have had other daughters. We don't know. But Kate and Jerry definitely hit it off.
There is no way we can outdo having dinner in a redwood forest.
You don't know that.
Strung between the trees. And people cooking steaks on outside whatever.
Jerry.
Shannon, if she knew what we were going to go into, would have quit ERE a month early, told David to go to hell, and have hitchhiked to this because it was without peer in terms of just a place where you just you can't buy that. You just can't buy it. It was expensive for us. It was expensive for them.
Yeah, I feel like we bought it.
And there's no question about that. But I think our members will probably remember that experience forever.
I'm not going to agree with you that it can't be topped. I think that is absolutely a challenge we give to our existing and future members. If we sign Tesla, I expect to do a meeting in a space shuttle. There are things that could be done to top that.
I know, but props to Ryan Cook. Ryan Cook and the Gallo team didn't just treat us well then. They have done some amazing things for this community.
They have been so good to the entire community.
Yeah, I like all of them very much.
It's been fun. And, Gallo is an extraordinary company with a lot of really great things going for it. And the ability to be able to better understand. And really, they're an example of what we're trying to accomplish with our members, in that every company has this kind of unique culture that has grown based upon their founders, the kind of work that they do and everything else, and to be able to share that with our members who can see what people who are going to work there go through, both the good and the bad. I mean, it's not an easy work environment either, but the fact of the matter is, it gives you an appreciation for how you build your employment brand and start to message why you would want to work here and how it attracts some, might reject others. And I do think Gallo did an extraordinary job in terms of doing that.
Yeah. So I think that was a nice little, I'm gonna give a little segue here. I think we should all raise our glass because Jerry, you created a culture, not just for those of us who are on the team, but for this community. And I, for one, am excited to be part of it, and I'm excited for what the years ahead will bring. So happy anniversary to Career Crossroads.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Let's go change the world.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Career Crossroads Uncorked. Chris Hoyt and Jerry Crispin look forward to sharing more drinks and conversation with you next time. Until then, cheers.